Aloha, and welcome to the Aloha Reef Podcast, the podcast where we talk about Hawaiian cultures, traditions, and life in Hawaii. Throughout time, I'll be talking about different cultural aspects, traditions, and facts about the Hawaiian way of life. Today's topic is going to be about the Hawaiian mythology that surrounds the island's religion before Christian ministries came to the islands and converted nearly half of its population to Christianity in 1820. To most people, the Hawaiian and Polynesian cultures surround themselves in these legend stories of gods and goddesses that are in charge of certain aspects of the Polynesian lands, like fire, earth, and water. Kind of like in the popular 2016 Disney movie, Moana, where Maui is this boisterous demigod that received his powers from the gods and used his giant magical fish hook as his power to shapeshift and serve as the audacious guardian of mankind. Although this is what Hawaiian and Polynesian mythology surrounds itself around, it's much bigger and deeper than that. So let's dig into it. In the Polynesian religion, there are thousands of gods and goddesses that rule over their life and are important aspects in their daily life, such as making the sun rise and set and for volcanoes erupting, as well as rainfall. So there are thousands of gods and goddesses that rule over Hawaiian religion and life, but we're only going to talk about 7. The most notable god in Polynesian culture is Kane. Kane is seen as the chief among all the gods and is worshipped as the creator of man and the god of sky and light. In the book Legends of Hawaii from 1937, it gives the following accounts of Kane, despite there are several versions of this story due to waves of immigration from different areas of Polynesia at different times. The story goes that in the beginning there was nothing but Po, the endless black chaos. Then Kane sensed that he was separate from Po and pulled himself free of Po by act of sheer will. From there, Kane's brothers, Lono and Ku, also pulled themselves free. Kane would then create light to push back Po. Lono had brought sound to the universe, and Ku brought substance. Between the three, they created the lesser gods. Then they created the Mehune as the lesser spirits and their messengers and servants. After they created the Mehune, they created the world as to be a footstep for them. Then they gathered red clay from the 4 corners of the earth, then mixed it with their spittle and molded it into the shape of man. Kane would then take a special magical white clay and form it into the head, and the 3 gods breathe life into the statue to create the first man. Sort of like how you would say God formed Adam in the Bible. Kane created this man statue as likeness of himself. The parallel legend to this story is that Kane alone breathed life into the man statue, and at the time, Kanaloa, his twin brother, had tried to duplicate Kane's feat but failed. Because of this, he challenged Kane by saying that man will live only a certain span of time. Then he will die. When he dies, I will claim him as my own. And this is why Kanaloa is seen as the opposite of Cain and as the lesser god who was created to be in charge of the dead. Not much is known about Kanaloa's story though, other than that he is Kane's companion and he is god of the ocean and personifies the darkness of its depth. Like I said, Kane, Lono, and Ku are brothers. Lono is associated with fertility, agriculture, rainfall, peace, and music. In one of the many Hawaiian stories of Lono, he is a fertility and music god who is descended to earth on a rainbow to marry Laka, the goddess who is honored with hula. In agriculture and planting traditions, Lono was identified with rain and food plants. Right along with this, he was the god of peace, and in his honor, the annual festival of Makahihi was held. Ku is the god of war, in the same way that Greek mythology uses Ares as the god of war. He is worshipped under many names such as Kuka Ilimuku, or the Snatcher of Land, where he is often seen in many Hawaiian legends as capturing other islands. Rituals for Ku were often held, including human sacrifices, for him to protect the islands and its inhabitants, and during the summer, people would flock to his home to worship him for his work. Ku, who married Hawaiian goddess Hina, together they are regarded as caretakers of the earth and its fertility, and often believed to have power to make the planet and its surroundings habitable. Hina is considered to be the opposite of her husband, for she is the moon goddess in Hawaiian religion and culture. Among the islands of Hawaii, she would sell bark cloth, or kapa. She is symbolized by the colors of silver and white, and in the Hawaiian legend, there are stories about Hina and Ku getting into a fight, and to escape him against his discretion, she would travel up to the sun to find peace. She did indeed travel up to the sun, however, she quickly discovered that it was too hot and descended back down to earth. The next night she witnessed a full moon, and from the rainfall that had fallen that day, there was a rainbow. She took the rainbow to the moon, and then called that her home. She is known as Hina of Hilo, and best known as the mother of the Hawaiian hero Maui. Maui is a demigod of the Hawaiian legends, and from this legend, Maui is responsible for holding up islands of Hawaii. He would take his fish hook, called Mana Ikalani, and trick his brothers into taking him fishing. He would catch his fish hook on the ocean floor and tell his brothers that he had caught a big fish and to paddle as hard as they could. With all their paddling, they would never notice the islands being risen, so this allowed for Maui to trick his brothers several more times, pulling up all the Hawaiian islands. Maui is greatly known for restraining the sun and preventing it from moving so fast. As for Hina would complain that her kapa is unable to dry because the days are so short. Because of this, Maui climbs to the mountain Hala'akala and lassos the sun rays as the sun rises using a rope made from his sister's hair. The sun pleads for its life and agrees that the days will be long in the summer and short in the winter. Maui, as portrayed in Moana, is responsible for lifting up the sky to make Earth livable for mankind, because the sky was too low and people were not able to stand upright. So from looking at the Disney movie Moana, Disney producers did a great job at accurately portraying Maui's legend stories. Lastly, we're going to talk about the goddess Pele. In Hawaiian religion, Pele is the goddess of volcanoes and fire, and the creator of Hawaiian islands. Often referred to as Madam Pele or Tutu Pele, as a sign of respect, she is well known within the Hawaiian mythology and is notable for contemporary presence and cultural influence as an enduring figure in ancient Hawaii. Along with being the goddess of fire, she is known for her power, passion, jealousy, and capriciousness. Legend told that Pele herself had journeyed on her canoe from the islands of Tahiti to Hawaii, and while on her journey she started to create fires on different islands, but her sister, Namaka, was chasing her and wanting to put an end to her and her madness. In the end, the two sisters fought each other, and ultimately Pele was killed. With this, her body was killed, but her spirit remained alive and now resides in the volcano Halaume'u on Kilauea. Ancient Hawaiians have said that her body is the lava and steam that comes from the volcanoes. She can also change form, appearing as a white dog, an old woman, or a beautiful young woman. And with that concludes our episode on Hawaiian religion and mythology. Thank you for listening to the Aloha Reef podcast, and join us next time for our next episode about early Hawaiian history.